All right, get ready, because today we're diving into something you probably wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Mango worship in 1960s China.
Wow.
I know, right? You suggested this one, and honestly, at first, I
Okay.
thought this has got to be a joke, right? But nope, turns out it's a real thing. And a pretty wild story, too. We're talking mangoes and formaldehyde, parades for wax replicas.
Really?
Oh, yeah, and get this. A dentist executed for comparing a mango to a sweet potato.
You're kidding.
I'm dead serious.
It's incredible.
Child.
To understand this, we have to think about the context, right?
Right.
China in the 1960s, the Cultural Revolution.
Okay, so rewind a bit.
Yep.
Mao Zedong's in charge, launches this movement to, like, solidify his power and purge anything he saw as,
Right, against his communist vision.
Exactly.
And that's where the Red Guards come in.
Oh, right, the Red Guards.
These groups, often teenagers, empowered by Mao to enforce his ideology.
So, like, enforcers.
Basically.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of influence, often clashing violently with those deemed enemies of the revolution.
So it was already a tense time.
Very much so.
And then things explode in 1968 at Tsinghua University.
Yeah, that was a turning point.
Rival Red Guard factions going at it, spears, stones, even sulfuric acid.
Intense infighting.
No kidding.
And this violence leads Mao to send in workers, the worker-peasant Mao Zedong thought propaganda team.
Try to calm things down.
Exactly. A peacekeeping force to rein in the Red Guards.
And that's when the mangoes appear.
Right in the middle of all this chaos.
Yeah.
Mao gets a gift of mangoes from the Pakistani foreign minister.
Mangoes.
Mangoes. Now, you couldn't just find mangoes in China back
They
then.
were rare.
Exotic, almost unheard of.
So imagine you're one of these workers sent into this crazy situation at Tsinghua University. You're risking your life to restore order.
Right.
And then Mao, the most powerful man in China,
Yeah.
gives you this incredibly rare, valuable gift.
It's not hard to see how this gesture took on huge symbolic weight.
It was more than just a gift.
Much more. It was seen as a sign of Mao's appreciation, his favor.
That makes sense.
This is key to understanding the whole mango phenomenon.
Okay, but why mangoes?
Right.
Was it the fruit itself, or just because they were so rare?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The mango's rarity definitely played a role, but there are also ties to traditional Chinese beliefs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The mango's golden color, the sweet taste.
So already positive connotations in Chinese culture.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Mao, being a master of propaganda,
Right.
likely knew this
Yeah.
and used it to his advantage.
So by gifting the mangoes, he wasn't just showing appreciation.
Right.
He was linking himself and his revolution with those positive qualities.
Right. Exactly. Clever symbolism.
Really clever.
So you've got these workers feeling incredibly honored, and word spreads about this amazing gift from Mao.
And then,
Things escalate quickly.
okay.
Remember, this is a time of intense ideological fervor, a cult of personality around Mao.
Right.
People wanted to show their loyalty,
Right.
and the mango became the perfect way to do that.
But how does a fruit become an object of worship? Formaldehyde, wax replicas, parades. That's a big leap.
It might seem strange to us now.
Yeah.
We're looking at it through a modern lens.
Right.
Back then, with the Cultural Revolution's emphasis on spectacle and symbolism,
Okay.
the mango became more than just a fruit. It became a tangible representation of Mao's love,
Right.
the revolution's success, even a path to a better future.
So it wasn't about the mango itself.
No.
It was what it represented.
Exactly. All the hopes and aspirations the Cultural Revolution promised.
Wow.
And this fervor, combined with the fear and paranoia of the time,
Right.
led to some really bizarre, disturbing events, like that dentist comparing a mango to a sweet potato.
Oh, man. That story, I can't get it out of my head.
Right.
Executed for saying a mango looks like another fruit.
It's hard to even imagine.
Yeah.
It really shows the fear and intolerance in China during the Cultural Revolution.
Any disrespect towards Mao or his symbols
Even unintentional.
could have serious consequences.
Absolutely.
So this mango fervor, it spreads like wildfire. People
Yeah.
treating these fruits like religious relics.
It's incredible.
Was it just small groups? Or did the whole country get caught up in this?
It was everywhere. The government-controlled media really pushed the mango cult.
Really?
Oh yeah, images of workers holding mangoes, articles praising Mao's generosity.
Songs about
It
mangoes.
was a full-blown propaganda campaign.
So the government was actively promoting this mango worship.
Absolutely, it fit perfectly with their propaganda.
It showed Mao as a benevolent leader.
Connected him to the common worker.
presented the Cultural Revolution as a success.
Exactly.
A simple fruit becoming a political tool.
It's a real-life example of how symbolism can manipulate and control people.
Wow.
And it wasn't just images and stories. They commercialized the mango cult, too.
Oh, yeah, the mango merchandise. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
Everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
Soap, cigarettes, bed sheets, clothing, even Mao badges with mangoes on them.
Wow, mangoes everywhere.
Mass-produced and sold all over China.
Did people actually believe in the mango's power?
It's hard to say for sure.
Or was it just about appearances?
Probably a mix of both.
Some genuinely
It's
believed,
a real reverence.
others just trying to avoid trouble.
Right. Dissent was dangerous back then.
Questioning the mango cult could get you in serious trouble.
Absolutely.
So even if you thought it was ridiculous,
You had to play along.
that's scary. What about the mangoes themselves? Did people actually eat them?
It depends.
Okay.
Some were eaten, shared, or preserved as relics,
Preserved.
like precious objects.
Wow.
Others, especially the wax replicas, were purely symbolic,
A wax mango on your mantelpiece?
treated like a holy object.
It's so surreal.
It shows how deeply the mango cult affected daily life.
It wasn't just politics.
It changed people's personal beliefs and rituals.
But like all trends, it eventually faded.
Right.
What happened? Did people just get tired of mangoes?
Well, the novelty wore off
Okay.
as more mangoes came into China.
They weren't so rare anymore.
Exactly.
Less special.
Right. Plus, the political landscape was changing.
Right.
The Cultural Revolution was evolving. Mao's wife, Jiang Qing, she actually tried to revive the mango cult.
A mango comeback.
In the mid-70s, she used mangoes gifted by Imelda Marcos of the Philippines.
Wow.
Even commissioned a propaganda film
A film.
called The Song of Mangoes.
Seriously?
But this revival attempt coincided with Mao's death and Jiang Qing's arrest.
Oh, wow.
So the mango cult basically died with Mao.
The mango's rise and fall tied to Mao's power.
It's an interesting parallel.
So the mango went back to being just a fruit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It lost its political meaning and became a common food.
From a symbol of the revolution to something you buy at the market.
It's remarkable how something so culturally significant could become ordinary again. Imagine people using those wax mangoes as candles during power outages.
That's kind of funny when you think about it.
Right.
What objects have that kind of power today, you know? What will people look back on and think, that was bizarre?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's something I hope our listener will think about.
Makes you wonder, huh? What are our mangoes? Would we even know them if we saw them?
The big question. I hope our listener really considers that after this deep dive.
For sure. It's been eye-opening, this whole mango cult thing. Shows how easily something so ordinary can become powerful, you know?
Yeah, how those meanings can change so much depending on, well, everything else that's going on.
Imagine trying to explain this to someone who didn't live through it.
Right. They wouldn't believe us.
It's like some crazy story, right?
Totally.
But it was real, affected so many people.
It reminds us to think critically, question what we're told.
Be aware of how symbols can be used.
Exactly, for good or for bad.
And it shows how important it is to understand history.
Yeah.
It's easy to judge the past, but
We can't just look back from where we are now.
got to consider the context.
The mango cult might seem bizarre now, but it made sense back then.
With all that was going on in China.
The politics, the social dynamics, the culture.
So we can't just dismiss it as, crazy.
We need to understand why it happened.
What caused it.
By studying these strange events, we learn about the past
And ourselves.
and the world we live in now.
Well said. This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive. Thanks for taking us through the world of mango worship.
My pleasure.
And to you, listener, we hope you found this as fascinating as we did. Keep questioning, keep learning, stay curious.
Absolutely.
Because as we've seen, even something as simple as a mango can change the course of history.